Hi everybody, welcome to or back to my channel, Mel KB Vlogs. This is my beautiful Christmas setup. I hope you guys enjoy it. I am gonna try to do a couple sit down videos this month because I'm just loving this vibe. I feel like I'm Santa Claus talking to children. That's so weird. Anyway, ignore that. Okay, so this video is all about how I wrote and published my very own children's book. Here it is. I'm a published author. I've literally wanted to be a published author my entire life, and I made it happen all by myself. Well, not all by myself. I had lots of helping hands, but I didn't need anybody to tell me that I could or couldn't do it. I just did it. So here it is. This is my book, Eleni of Sipili. It is a Greek fantasy, kind of a novel for children, I would say. It is geared towards kids around ages like 7 to 10. And my idea for the vibe was like a kid's first long story. It's about 45 pages, but the font is really big and there's lots of pictures and everything. But this is it. So let's start just with writing it. I just want to tell you guys kind of how I did all of this. So I always have thought to myself that when I have any nieces or nephews that I want to write, and I guess children of my own, I'll do that too. But I always thought that I would want to write a story for each kid with them as the star, and have the story teach a major lesson, have, you know, something to take away, and something that then that kid could maybe bring along with them as like a theme to their life, and something for them to like claim as their own. So specifically with this book, Eleni of Sipili, there's a few main themes in it. And always how I start my stories is I write differently than some people. Everybody has their own process, but what I do is I think of what I want to portray first. So what theme, what message, what moral am I trying to get across to the audience? And then usually with that, the characters, the setting flows in. So with Eleni of Sipili, I would say that there are two main themes. One theme is that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and kind of with that is learning to appreciate what you do have and what's around you, and to really relish in what your life is and what your circumstances are and all of that. So really just appreciating and having gratitude for things in your life. So that's one of the main messages in this. And then another message is more of a self-confidence thing of believing in yourself and knowing that you are capable of so much more than you think you ever could be, and that you might surprise yourself every day with new things that you didn't know you could do, different things that you might be really good at, or just something that, you know, you're capable of that you didn't know the day before. So I would say it's about never underestimating yourself and never underestimating others. So those are kind of the main themes of this story, and it is centered around my little baby niece, Eleni, and she is 7 years old in this book. So I also have the child be the age that I think that they'll actually be able to sit down and read the book. So I picture myself, well, we're gonna read it to Eleni as she grows up, but when she's around 7 years old, I think she'll be able to actually sit down and like read it as a book herself, which is cool. So, and it'll be her as a 7-year-old starring in this book. So from there, I do kind of a plot outline, and I have my own kind of, I don't know, equation for what my children's stories look like. I tend to follow the same kind of pattern, and it's a pattern that I enjoy reading, so that's the way I write. But for me, I always have the exposition, and then the conflict will set in, and usually that the star of the story will then have to go on some sort of quest or adventure, and then as they set off on that adventure, there's always 3 things that happen within that adventure, whether it's 3 obstacles that they face, 3 different characters that they meet that change them in some way, something like that. But it's always 3 for me. And of course, if you're writing, you don't have to do this, but this is what I do, and if you want to try it, cool. So the 3 things happen, and then we go into the big conflict, where whatever that star of the story, whatever they're going towards on their adventure, it all comes to a head, and then we have the conclusion, and it dwindles down into a little happy moment where we reflect on what we learned in the story, and it all is happy and good and calm. So I kind of outline that, and I usually like to write this in like a workbook, and I write just kind of my ideas for everything in a rough outline. And really that's like the bulk of my work, actually, is doing the outline, because I'm just filling in all of the pieces of like what exactly is going to happen, who are the characters, what's the conflict going to be, what is the setting, all of that. I create that there. And then from there, I also do character flowcharts, where I put the character in the middle, and then I'll just do little bubbles around the character of like all of their physical attributes, their history a little bit, and then what they're like, you know, all of that. So it's more like character outline. So I do that really quickly just to lay down who these people are that are going to be living in this story. And that's really it. So yeah, and then after that, I straight up just sit there with my laptop, and I have my notes all next to me, and I just write. And I think for me, my imagination has always been wild. Like, if I have an idea, I can just go off and off about it. I love to tell stories, like with my niece. I'll just be holding her, and I'll just make up a story and tell her. I'll just make it up on the spot, and I feel like I'm really good at that. So I will just sit there and write. So after I do that outline, the writing part becomes pretty easy, especially for children's books, because they can be wild and imaginative, and they could be really anything you want them to be. There's, no rules. You want to keep the reader captivated. So just make it interesting. So I just write. And then after that, I send it off to a few people. I sent it off to some friends, got some notes from them just about like the general flow of the story, all of that. I do some edits. And then I called in my sister, Leanne, to be the official editor. So I sent her the story on Google Docs. She went through, I just heard something. The heck was that? I hope it's not a freaking mouse. Anyway, she left me notes in the Google Doc of just syntax and grammatical errors, and then also just ideas she had as well to add to the story, or just to make more sense. So she was my editor, and my sister Leanne is so smart. I'm so lucky that I have somebody in my family who is so good at that kind of a thing, so I didn't have to like pay anybody. So Leanne did that. And then for the illustrations, which they are so cute, I'll come up and show you some of them. I love them so much. This page is my favorite. super cool illustrations. I love them. It's awesome. So, oh, I love this one too. So, my brother, his best friend, Chris Boylan, did the illustrations. He is amazing. You should check him out. I'll link his stuff below. But yeah, so what I did was I gave him an outline of all of the illustrations that I wanted to see in the book. I gave him about a list of, I think it was 22 illustrations, and I also sent him the Google Doc where I highlighted each section that would be represented by the picture. So did it in an organized way, sent him lots of documents of everything, and he read the story, and then these illustrations are what came into his brain when he read the story. So that was really, really cool. It's really cool to see, you know, like something that I had in my mind be collaborated with somebody else, and then here it is in this like beautiful visual form. It's really cool. So those were the illustrations. I'm so happy with them. I love them. I feel like they like make the book. It's really cool. So then into actually publishing. I initially was going to do Amazon books, but I found it to be like not very user friendly and everything. It was just difficult with like formatting and all of that. So I moved to Barnes & Noble Press, and I'm so happy I ended up doing it with them. I am a huge Barnes & Noble lover. I just love going into Barnes & Noble and walking around, and I love the environment, and I've loved it since I was a kid. So it's really cool that now a book that I wrote is sold on their website. I love that. So Barnes & Noble Press, I went on there. It's very intuitive. It kind of walks you through the process. So what I first did was I got the book copywritten. I just Googled copyright book, and it brought me to a government website. I forget exactly what it is, but I can link that down below as well. So yeah, that's what I did. And I think it was either like $50 or $75 to publish the book, or to copyright the book, sorry. And then once I did that, that just ensured that this work was mine. I owned it. And then I went on to the Barnes & Noble site, and it just kind of leads you through it. First, what you do is you submit the PDF of the book, and then... Is that good? Okay. Oh my god. What did I even say? So you submit the book to Barnes & Noble, and then what they do is they review that. I'm not entirely sure what they're actually looking for, probably just to make sure that it's something of substance that they would want on their site. So that took about 7 days, I think. I got that approved, which was very exciting. And then from there, what you do is you just go through all of the formatting of the book, making sure that you have the dimensions right of everything, that the pages fit nicely, and that the layout is good. You do the cover and the back, and then after that, that goes through another review process where they make sure everything is looking good. And then they sent me a copy of the book for me to approve, and there's a barcode on the back, which I think is so exciting. And then after that, I approved it, so it went live on the site, and that was really cool. I got to write the summary for the book, so that was on the listing and all of that. And yeah, it was live, and I posted it on my social media, and so many people bought copies, which was so exciting. So many people that I don't even know, or that, you know, I went to high school with and don't talk to anymore. Just really, really cool. And that was that. It didn't cost me anything to do that on Barnes & Noble. It was really just doing the copyright that cost me money. So yeah, that's it. And also on Barnes & Noble, you set your own price for the book, and then you get a percentage of that price every time a copy is sold. So it was pretty simple. It just more was lengthy. It took a lot of time, but yeah, I just did it, and there we go. Now I have a published book. So very exciting. I will put the link down for the book below for you to buy it. If you have any little ones in your life, get them this book. They will love it. It's such a good adventure story, and there's so many different things that they can take away from this story. Learn a little bit about Greek culture, which was so exciting to write about. My brother-in-law is from Cyprus, so he's Greek, and my little niece Eleni is going to be raised bilingual, and they are fully immersing her in the Greek culture as well. So it was fun to set this in, you know, in the Greek culture with, you know, Greek foods and different things. So yeah, that's really it. Let me know if you have any questions about writing a book, getting a book published, any of that. I would love to make more videos on this, and I'm also in the beginning stages of learning how to do all of this as well, so just getting to know other people who do this would be really cool. I'm also working on my first novel. It is going to be a historical fiction novel, and I'm very much in the beginning stages of that. I'm writing it. I've done the outline and everything. I'm in the middle of writing it, but I think it's going to be a very long journey. That book, I'm going to attempt to get an outside publisher to do that. I really want to go like the traditional book publishing route with that book, because that book, I really wanted to reach as many people as possible, where with this book, it was more so for me and my family, and to get other people to see it is really cool, and that's like a plus. But the novel I'm writing, I want everybody in the world one day to know about that book. So I will do videos on that in the future too. So just any questions you have, put them down below and we'll get chatting about it. But yeah, that's it. Make sure you like and follow and subscribe and share and buy the book, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.